Listen, the moves they banned weren't hidden because they were weak. They were hidden because they took control. Imagine holding a single piece of knowledge that can end a fight, shift a life, or ruin a career in a heartbeat. That's why rules were written. Not to teach you, but to contain what a few people already knew. Bans are whispers of past disasters. Fights that didn't just end, they changed laws, ruined bodies, and forced organizations to erase the technique from polite memory. We're not here to glamorize harm. We're here to understand why those lines exist and what it reveals about power, fear, and control. In the next minute, we'll move faster. 10 banned moves, their real names, the real damage they caused, and the cold reasons they were outlawed. Listen close. Knowledge changes how you see danger. 1. Eye gouge. They don't put this on highlight reels because there's nothing glamorous about blinding somebody. Eye gouge is the blunt, ugly name for attacks that target the eyeball. A single motion that can end a person's life of independence. Books on street survival and prison violence whisper it. Medical reports record it in horror. Sporting bodies ban it because the outcome is often permanent blindness and lifetime civil and criminal consequences. Why it matters. Eye attacks destroy more than sight. They destroy trust, career, and freedom. That's why society treats them as among the most reprehensible. 2. Tracheal, throat strikes, windpipe attacks. Target the trachea, and you're playing with the mechanism of breath itself. Law, sport, and medicine converge here. Strikes that crush or puncture the larynx or windpipe have been implicated in sudden deaths and catastrophic injury. That moral and medical weight is why they're universally outlawed. Why it matters. When a move targets breathing, the legal and medical fallout is immediate and unforgiving. 3. Neck cranks, including the can opener, shoe-tand spinal torsions. Neck crank is an umbrella for techniques that torque the neck or upper spine outside safe ranges. Competition regulators and physicians label these as career-ending risk. There are stories, fighters never to return, civilians whose lives were altered forever. And those stories pushed rule committees to ban or strictly limit neck cranks. Why it matters. Some moves break the body's control systems. Society bans them to prevent irreversible damage. 4. The 12-6 elbow A, vertical, straight-down elbow, visually visceral on camera, earned the ire of regulators. In high-profile MMA and combat sports debates, this one became a symbol. The move looked too brutal on TV and produced injuries that the audience recoiled from. Bans here were as much about optics and public tolerance as they were about safety. Why it matters. Public outrage changes rules. If something looks too brutal, it will be erased, regardless of lineage or effectiveness. 5. Heel hook. The heel hook is surgical in its damage. It attacks ligaments in the knee and ankle in a way that can obliterate careers in a single twist. Some grappling circuits restrict or ban heel hooks at amateur levels because the resulting ACL/MCL/meniscus damage is often irreparable without major surgery. It's a subtle cruelty. Devastating because it can happen before the victim even realizes the severity. Why it matters. Invisible damage is the kind that forces regulators to step in fast, often after someone's life is ruined. 6. Calf slicer and compression submissions. Less famous outside grappling circles, calf slicers and other crushing compression submissions compress soft tissue and joints with catastrophic consequence. Medical aftermath often includes torn ligaments and long rehab. That hidden cruelty, pain that masks structural damage, is why many events outlaw them for less experienced divisions. Why it matters. Not all dangerous techniques look dangerous. Some act like a slow, silent breaker of tissues. 7. Fish hooking and biting animal. Base, direct. Fish hooking, pulling at a mouth, cheek, or lip with fingers, and biting cross the line from combat into mutilation. Prison incidents and street fights made these automatic disqualifications, and criminal charges follow. They're banned because they are intentionally dehumanizing and medically dangerous. Why it matters. These moves aren't about victory so much as domination, and society punishes domination that destroys a person's body or dignity. 8. Rabbit punch. Back of head strikes. The rabbit punch, blows to the occipital region and upper neck, hides lethal consequences. Medical research links such strikes to brainstem trauma and sudden fatal outcomes. Boxing and other combat sports phased it out as doctors explained the anatomical risk. Criminal courts treat intentional back-of-head blows as especially grave. Why it matters. Some strikes kill quietly. Bans are a confession by regulators that a move's risk isn't worth spectacle. 9. Knee to a grounded opponent. Kicks to the head of grounded opponent. In many rule sets, striking a grounded adversary's head with knees or kicks is banned. Why? Because the grounded position removes defensive capability, and a heavy knee or stomp to the skull or face can end life or career instantly. Several notorious fights and violent incidents where these strikes caused permanent injury pushed athletic commissions to codify their prohibition. Why it matters. Fairness matters. The moment one side is defenseless, the line becomes criminal, not competitive. 10. Small joint manipulation and toe holds. Finger breaks, toe holds. Small joint manipulation, crushing, bending, or twisting fingers and toes, is banned in nearly every organized sport. It's humiliating, efficient, and often crippling for everyday life. Toe holds and finger breaks may appear minor in a fight, but injure a musician, a mechanic, or a writer forever. Because those small parts make the rest of life possible, institutions ban attacks that risk lifelong disability over a momentary advantage. Why it matters. The cruelest damage is sometimes the smallest. Rules protect the small things that enable human function. You've just heard the 10 fighting moves the world decided were too dangerous to allow. But here's the twist. Banning something doesn't erase its power. It only proves how much fear it carries. So tell me this, do you agree these moves should stay buried? Or do you think knowledge, no matter how dangerous, should always be free? Drop your thoughts below. Don't just type yes or no. Explain your reason. The best debates always come from those who dare to think past the rulebook.